First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rokah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to you, Akim and Yaquat, that believe in all sincerity. So, as you see here, 6-year-old student shoots teacher. And here's a picture of people gathering outside the elementary school, I believe. All right, and the caption below says, students and police gather outside the Rich Neck Elementary School after a shooting on January 6, 2023 in Newport News, Virginia. And this is what's going on in the world these days, man. 6-year-old, 6-year-old shooting teachers, That's why the scriptures say, much more evil shall increase, all right, in the book of Esdras. Can't even send your kids to school because, some classmate, was about to unload on the teacher, okay? Matter of fact, I was looking up, Sandy Hook. It says the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting occurred on December 14, 2012 in Newton, Connecticut, United States, when 20-year-old Adam Lanza shot and killed 26 people. 20 of the victims were children between 6 and 7 years old, and the other 6 were adult staff members, okay? Earlier that day, before driving to school, Lanza had shot and killed his mother at their Newton home. As first responders arrived at the school, Lanza died by suicide, shooting himself in the head. Okay, so this is what's going on these days, man. So to the spirit and power of Yahweh, I want to read this article, get some scriptures. Lord willing, this will be edifying. Perilous times. It says the young boy has been identified as the suspect in a shooting allegedly done on purpose. A 6-year-old boy in Newport News, Virginia, has reportedly shot and injured his elementary school teacher, putting her in the hospital with life-threatening injuries in an attack that police say was not an accident. So my first thought is, what would provoke a 6-year-old to shoot his teacher? It says the shooting occurred on Friday afternoon at Rich Neck Elementary School. Newport News Police Chief Steve Drew confirmed to reporters that the suspect was a 6-year-old boy. You see that? A 6-year-old suspect, man. Okay. No one other than the boy's teacher was injured, but police tactical teams entered the building in the case the shooter still posed a threat. Okay. So they had to call a tactical team, okay? In case this 6-year-old was still a threat, right? The boy was involved in an altercation, you see, with his teacher before shooting her with the handgun, Drew said. He's in police custody. The teacher was identified only as a woman in her 30s. We believe that once we walked in and had the information we had coming in, we had the individual in custody. Drew told reporters at a briefing outside the school. We did not have a situation where someone was going around the school shooting. We had a situation in one particular location where a gunshot was fired. Police offered no further explanation about the altercation, nor did they say how the boy was able to obtain a handgun and bring it to school. A classmate of the unidentified suspect, a 6-year-old girl, told a Newport News Daily press reporter that she witnessed the shooting. The female teacher was shot in the stomach area on purpose, she said, and the teacher fell to her knees. Rich Neck Elementary has more than 550 students. According to National Center of Education Statistics data, 84% of the students come from families that are poor enough to qualify for free lunches. Okay, the school's ratio of students to teachers is 57% higher than the state average. Friday's shooting came just 3 days after classes resumed at Rich Neck following the holiday break. U.S. school shootings surged to a historic high last year with 51 incidents that resulted in injuries or deaths. The youngest shooter to kill someone in U.S. school shooting was a 6-year-old Michigan boy who fatally shot a female classmate in February 2000. So this is what's going on, all right, these days. 51 incidents last year that resulted in injuries or deaths. Okay, so I wanted to, spiritually report on this. This is 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. Okay. Let's get this word disobedient.
Strong's G 545. Apithase.
Impersuasible. Right. You can't persuade them. Not compliant, disobedient, contumacious. We're living in a time where, you got 6-year-olds that are disobedient to parents, and a 30-year-old woman being a teacher most likely was a parent. All right. I'm not saying that she was. Okay, but the teacher was identified as a woman in her 30s. Okay. And, the school system's all messed up, because, I can speak for my own self when I say that, not all teachers are right. There was a situation I had where, there was a teacher that was really giving my son hell, and it was manifested, okay, through the spirit, that she was lying about it, so I got down to the bottom of it and actually had my son moved from a classroom, so, it's possible, but for a child to bring a gun to school, man, it shows a lot of, disobedience, okay? And this is what's happening these days, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, okay? So you got that these days, It says here, that there was an altercation. What's going on these days? Okay, where a boy and a teacher get into an altercation, and, the boy has to, pull out a weapon, all right? In this case, a gun, a handgun, and shoot his teacher. It's madness. This is let's get this, the book of Ephesians 6. Okay, and we'll start at 2. Honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise. Okay, you got to honor your father and your mother. That's why when you come into the truth, most, for the most part, you want to tell your immediate family, you want to tell your brothers, your sisters, your mother, and your father. But this truth is not for everybody. So you learn to just have a relationship, with your family as just that. You're a son and a brother, and or a nephew, and just keep it moving. You have to honor your parents, okay? And you see, like I said, the school system's all messed up, Back in the ancient world, if I'm not mistaken, it was mainly the sons that went to school, and they were taught by the elders. They were taught by older men, So yeah, you got to honor, your parents, okay, spiritually, and your physical parents, so to speak. Honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. Because the elders, the parents, they had the knowledge of righteousness. They were the ones that taught, Okay, the children, right? Fathers, mothers taught, no doubt. Mothers taught their children. It's only sensible that a mother would teach her children when the father was away not to do certain things. Makes sense. And that's how you live along on the earth, because the elders would your father and your mother taught you things. They would show you, how to live long, how to be prosperous, so to speak. And it was all in the Lord. This is, and ye fathers provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Yeah, so, and this is spiritually and physically. This is twofold. Fathers, you don't ever provoke your children to be wrathful, but you bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. And see, they've separated church and state here in America, where you cannot speak about God or an individual belief, because you offend the rest. So if we actually had it like how they did in the ancient world, there would be men teaching the sons the proper way. Okay, how to out of the law. Okay, and even other things too. Okay, and even other things were sons taught, okay, by their fathers. But yeah, you're not to provoke children to wrath, and that's spiritually and physically. Even brothers that are under you, you're not to provoke them to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Right, and admonition is a warning, showing you the school system's all messed up.
Strong's G 3559. Nuthesia. Nuthesia.
Admonition, exhortation. It says here, calling attention to, i.e., mild rebuke or warning. Admonition. And actually, as I read this article, and as I got some scriptures, the Spirit got on me to bring my kids in the room and start talking to them. And just run back certain rules and certain guidelines, because it's important. It's important, man. If not, then you have a bunch of rebellious ass kids, man. Keep it 100. And that's not the way to be. And although this is not necessarily prophecy, but hey, we bring it all out. History, the Hebrew, exhortations, admonitions, prophecy. We just bring out the knowledge, okay? Because this is a threat to Esau, Edom. This is the book of Sirach 30:3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Okay? So you teach your son, you actually grieve the enemy. Because in this society, it's all backwards. Everything is out of course. Everything is out of order. And you got 6-year-olds, and 20-year-olds shooting up, schools. All right? Look at this guy, Adam Lanza. He killed 26 people in 2012. Okay? 20 victims were between 6 and 7 years old. And yes, it's judgment of the Lord, but hey, that's just a cold piece nonetheless. We're living in perilous times. So there's many ways you can go, okay, with this. This is Proverbs 22:6. This is train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So we got to get them when they're young. If not, their peers do. TV does, music, and other avenues. The internet get to the child and molds them. You see, but we have to train up, these children in the way that they should go. So when they're old, they will not depart. Teach them, about the law, statutes, and commandments, and that's beautiful. Because there's brothers that are in the camp, that got children that are starting to learn, about the truth. They were born in the truth. They weren't born how, a lot of us older brothers who, learned about Caesar Borgia, learned about Christianity, and they really weren't trained up in the way, you see. So it's beautiful that brothers have children that are learning the truth. They're growing up, the right way. They're coming into the knowledge as soon as they be born. You know, this is Proverbs 22:15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Yeah, yeah. Foolishness is you know is gonna stay, in a child unless you correct them. It'll drive it far from him. This word rod.
Strong's H 7626, Shevet, Shevet, and second entry, Shevet, Shevet.
Right. Stick for punishing, riding, fighting, ruling, walking, etc. Correction. You know, when you correct a child, it drives away foolishness out of his mind. This is Proverbs 29 and 15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. You see, the rod and reproof give wisdom. Okay? Yeah, sometimes you got to put a belt, to your own son, to your own child. Okay? Correct him. That's that reproof. It gives wisdom. This is but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. So when a child, he don't have nobody over him telling him anything, he's just going to be willful and do whatever he want to do and ultimately bring shame. Okay? You see? This is Proverbs 17. And 25. A foolish son is a grief to his father and bitterness to her that bare him. Yeah. This son, all right, which I don't know if it was a girl, but it was probably a little boy, a young, it was somebody's bond. They shot this lady, but it said a foolish son is a grief to his father and bitterness to her that bare him, right? Yeah. You got to train up, these children. They don't grow up to be just straight wicked degenerates. Toting guns, smoking cigarettes, just being straight out, just evil. They had laws in Deuteronomy, for stubborn and rebellious sons, drunkards. They used to take them out, to from the congregation and stone them. To put away evil from Israel, you see. So good thing, we're under grace, Speaking for myself, first and foremost, I was a rebellious ass kid myself, So good thing we have this knowledge now. Good thing, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has chosen us, has called us, I should say, Lord willing, we be chosen. You see, so we don't want to be, in this stead. A lot of these scriptures, they're really twofold. This is a Proverbs 13 and let's see, 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth his son chasteneth him betimes. Yeah, so if you spare, punishment, even spanking, the scriptures say spank him on his sides, roughly paraphrasing, It's really because you don't love your son. And the father, Yahweh Bashim Yashai deals us, as the father does his sons. That's why we get chastised. You know, and out here, in Arizona, you know, you know, uh, I knew a dude, okay, before I joined Great Millstone, I was with another camp. There was a dude who fell out and ended up shooting up some of the dudes in his camp, in the camp, that I was in. You know, it was all over the news. You see, this he totally bugged out, and went totally left. So this is very much these scriptures are faithful and true. That's why we get chastised. That's why a righteous man knoweth when he slippeth. You're supposed to know when you slip. You're supposed to know how to take correction. Scripture say, roughly paraphrasing, a sinful man cannot be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will. Okay, and we don't want to be like that. But we're in perilous times. These things are happening at an alarming rate. Much more evils are increasing than that was before us. When I was growing up, you never heard of a 20-year-old dude shooting up 26-year-old, 6 to 7-year-olds. That's just almost unheard of. But look what's going on. You got 6-year-olds. Okay, and this has happened before. This isn't the first time that you hear about young ass kids shooting, committing murders, and doing all kinds of just madness. Proverbs 13:24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. The Lord chasteneth us betimes as well. So we can get it into our minds, man, to stay on the right path. Okay, one more and I'm going to end it out. This is Proverbs 19:18. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. You see? Chasten thy son while there is hope, right? Chasten, your son while there is hope. While there's still a chance before he goes too far left. And let not thy soul spare for his crying. Don't worry about your son when he cries. Because it's ultimately going to give him that correction. It's going to give him that wisdom. That's why we get chastened. That's why we have to, love chastening. It tells you that in the scriptures. Love chastening. We have to love chastening. Not take it as a hateful thing, You have to endure sound doctrine, not be offended in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because you can totally bug out. I knew a dude, straight up, to be honest with you, before I came into Great Millstone, I know a dude who in the camp that I was once in, that he bugged out and shot up the camp. Kill one of the brothers, man. One of the so-called brothers. And shot his own biological brother. And another lady. It was horrible. Living in some perilous times, and these things happen. That's why we gotta endure sound doctrine. Take heed to this word. Because there's spirits, out there. You see? So I always gotta pray. Pray how Bashem Shai continues to sup with us. But this is just something that is going on in the news. I thought it was, worthy to do a lesson on. You gotta admonish, or the little ones, because they're gonna ultimately, the boys, the young men are gonna ultimately, if we're here that long, hopefully we're not. They're gonna come in and be teaching as well, Lord willing. All right, so Again, Lord, when this is edifying, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rokak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim and Yahweh that believe in all sincerity. Shalom.